After saying he wasn't going to be involved in the weeds when it came to WWE creative, Vince McMahon was fully in charge of creative last night on Monday Night Raw, and certainly the Raw after WrestleMania episode certainly showed that. We've got all of the details, plus the last-minute script changes, multiple changes, and is Triple H even in control? Speaking of Triple H, we've got his opening announcement last night. It wasn't what people thought it was going to be. It was a whole load of nothing, really. Brock Lesnar is heel once again as he's turned on Cody Rhodes after he was scheduled to tag with the American Nightmare to face Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa on Raw last night. Matt Riddle makes his return to WWE television. Bad Bunny is attacked and put through a table by the Judgment Day on Raw. Seth Rollins reacts to his victory over Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley faces off with Bianca Belair. And also Pat McAfee discusses how he kept his WrestleMania match a secret. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment, and it was nice while it lasted, certainly, but Vince McMahon is reportedly firmly back in charge of creative in WWE. Now, a lot of people kind of sensed this after watching the show last night, but it has subsequently been confirmed. Vince McMahon told CNBC over the weekend that he'd no longer be in the weeds as it pertains to WWE creative, and he'd only get involved with higher level decisions when it came to WWE creative choices. However, that wasn't the case during last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, the Fallout episode from WrestleMania 39, and the first television taping since Endeavor's acquisition of WWE. According to PW Insider, McMahon was personally and heavily involved with Monday's show and ordered a number of late rewrites for the show about 15 or 20 minutes before Raw went live on the air. Furthermore, the changes were described as not a feeling that talents and staff had come to expect under the regime of Paul Triple H Levesque. The report added that the changes to the Raw script were made even after the show went on the air, and they came directly from McMahon, who had his own office just as he did before his retirement last July. It was further noted that although last night's show began with Levesque on headsets, McMahon became more and more involved as the point person running the show as the night progressed. For most of the night, McMahon was in the gorilla position, directly overseeing the proceedings, PW Insider added. This was not the case during WrestleMania 39, where he was on the headset only producing a few segments, but not involved with all of the decision-making. Among talents PW Insider spoke with, there was a, quote, negative shift in morale as they realized that operations had reverted to, quote, exactly where they were before Levesque took over as the WWE's chief creative officer. One source noted the place felt nuked, and the feeling was that McMahon would likely be overseeing everything again going forward, leaving the creative to his whims and sensibilities. Other talents were less disheartened by McMahon's return to Gorilla, noting that they always suspected all roads would eventually lead to his return to WWE's creative process. There was also optimism that McMahon's heavy involvement was likely a one-off, seeing as Triple H still holds the title of WWE's Chief Content Officer. Regardless, multiple sources confirmed to PW Insider that McMahon was firmly back in charge following the Endeavor acquisition of the company. This was expected after Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel stated that he wasn't going to let McMahon retire and he wanted the iconic promoter to remain at the helm of WWE. Again, this was something that was speculated on during the show. It started off with Triple H opening the show, but it felt like a Vince McMahon produced show with things not making a lot of sense, a chaotic nature. It was widely reported on social media that lots of things were being changed. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful tweeted out this morning saying, quote, Vince McMahon was changing lots of things in Gorilla at Raw. It caused a big hit to WWE morale, and there were, as I mentioned, several last-minute changes. Even during the show, it was reported and tweeted by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, quote, this show is categorically different than how it was laid out even a few hours ago. At least 2 matches scrapped and or changed. According to the show rundown that was shared by Fightful Select, there have definitely been changes since what was laid out internally only a few hours before Raw went on the air. Also on Twitter, this is really, I guess, the perfect insight. If you don't believe some of these journalists, that's up to you. But there was a fan sitting behind some of the production staff at Raw last night, and they saw multiple scripts being delivered, basically stating that the script was constantly changing even during the broadcast. They tweeted, quote, I'm sitting right behind production, and they've legit received 3 run sheets in the last 45 minutes. two since the show has started. Now, the image in question about the run sheet changing is on the screen right now. You can see it there. Now, maybe it's not the best picture, but if you look in the middle, there's actually 3 scripts in between them, and clearly they're being told that different things are going on. You're going to have to queue up different music, different stuff is happening, and this was all because the show was constantly being rewritten even when the show was on the air. Now, if this was this time last year, that was par for the course. We've always heard about last-minute changes and rewrites and, rewriting during the show and people going out and not sure what was going on under the Vince McMahon previously led creative regime, but not under Paul Triple H Levesque. We haven't heard that. We've seen things be largely set in stone by Friday or Saturday or Sunday or even the day of Monday, but certainly not during the showtime or just hours before, and things being rewritten and changed on the air. And by all accounts, that was all down to Vince McMahon, who has pretty much gained full control of the creative process once again. Now, it continues talking about these late changes that were made. As I mentioned, Sean Ross Sapp originally tweeted, "This show is categorically different to how it was laid out even a few hours ago. At least 2 matches scrapped and or changed. Now with more," Sean Ross Sapp wrote, quote, "Originally tonight was supposed to feature a couple of triple threat matches that would serve as a tournament for a Raw Women's Championship shot. They were scrapped very late in favor of the tag title contender match. As noted," and we'll kind of get onto this later on, there's a Women's Tag Team Championship match that has been announced for next week. Interestingly, in a match, there was actually going to be a match whereby we were going to see Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. They were set to take on Damage Control, and despite being there and previously planned for their entrance, Bayley was actually pulled from last night's show as well, according to reports. They don't know. Bad Bunny also appeared on Monday Night Raw last night. Again, we'll get into what happened with him later on during this video. But there was a segment featuring Rey Mysterio that was set to see Bad Bunny inducted into the LWO, with WRKD Wrestling tweeting that the spot still might occur. And if you doubt this, there were t-shirts made, LWO t-shirts made with the Puerto Rico flag on it. We didn't see that last night. Of course, we still could see that on SmackDown on Friday, or Vince McMahon decided, no, I want to go in a different direction, we're not doing that. So with all of this going on, this was happening during the show, the chaos during the show. Well, prior to the show, there were employee and talent meetings, and shockingly, they don't really reflect what happened last night on Raw. During March 3rd's WWE employee meeting, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, it was claimed that Endeavor isn't going to be involved in the creative or production of the show. The meeting was headed up by Triple H, Nick Khan, and Frank Riddick. There were a few details as how other areas could be effective. There was also a talent meeting at 6 p.m. Eastern ahead of Raw. Some SmackDown talent and Raw talent that weren't booked were not in attendance, as many were on a nearly 10-day travel stretch. Fightful have been told that the meeting was led by Nick Khan and Triple H. WWE spoke about the record-breaking WrestleMania numbers and pressed that nothing would change under Endeavor. However, Vince was mentioned a few times as they listed names of people in control, although there was nothing specific provided regarding Vince. They did not take questions during the meeting either. In addition to that, Vince McMahon had also ensured employees that things would remain the same. WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon sent out an email to all company staff. In addition to spelling out details of the company sale, McMahon attempted to offer some reassurances to employees about their futures and what new ownership would mean for them. Quote, "We expect to continue to operate largely as we do now," McMahon wrote, as reported by WrestleNomics, while laying out the agreed-upon corporate structure of the new company, sharing a timeline for the deal to be finalized as sometime later this year. McMahon further reiterated that the more things change, the more they'll be staying the same. In the meantime, it is business as usual here, and this news has no immediate impact on your day-to-day roles or responsibilities. McMahon presented all the upsides of the sale, presenting Endeavor's purchase as a benefit to WWE being able to fully capitalize on the rapidly expanding global appetite for live sports events and premium content. But he also took the time to express gratitude for those employed by WWE for their work and efforts in helping the company even reach the point where a multi-billion-dollar sale was on the table, saying, quote, "I want to close by expressing my sincere and heartfelt gratitude to you all. We are all coming off the most successful WrestleMania of all time," he continued. and that's a testament to your commitment and ability to execute 52 weeks a year. I can't wait to work with all of you on building this exciting next chapter for WWE. So McMahon fully back in control of the creative process, and certainly last night's Raw was evidence of that. Now, speaking of last night's episode, it was opened up by Triple H. We had heard that Triple H was going to open the show with a big announcement. Was it splitting the championships? Was it a big premium live event? Was it going to be something big? It was not. The epic Raw after WrestleMania started out with an appearance from WWE's Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque, the man in charge of WWE's creative direction, at least at that point in the show, came out with a roaring reaction from fans thanking everyone involved for the incredible weekend they had for WrestleMania 39. In the process, Triple H named several people, including Stu, the cameraman, the WWE talent and crew, along with the WWE Universe at large. Not only did Triple H take the time to give thanks, but the game also spoke about the bombshell WWE sale news that dropped earlier on in the day, referencing that it was one thing that the world was going to be talking about following last night's epic Sunday show. In response, Triple H assured everyone, quote, that the same WWE that you know and love is going nowhere, and that fans can expect the same show they're used to involving the same top stars. During last night's WrestleMania 39 Sunday press conference, the CCO wouldn't comment on the sale. Monday night, he told fans that he can promise no matter what happens, WWE is going nowhere. Just like last night, Triple H even brought out the traditional WWE line, then, now, together, forever, before introducing the victor of the Undisputed Universal Championship match, that being Roman Reigns. So the big announcement was that WWE is going nowhere, and expect the same WWE show that you love. I guess if that's the show that's produced by Vince McMahon and his creative thought process, because that was not the show that we have come to enjoy and love over the last 9 months or so. Now, the show finished off with a shocking heel turn. People thought Brock Lesnar was going to wrestle his first match on Monday Night Raw since 2002, and he did not. Brock Lesnar is back to his heel ways, surprisingly dropping Cody Rhodes before what was supposed to be the main event of Monday night's edition of Raw. Earlier, during Monday's Raw, after WrestleMania 39, Roman Reigns and Rhodes met face-to-face, with the 2023 Royal Rumble winner issuing a challenge to Reigns for a rematch for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Rhodes ultimately had to settle, though, for a tag team match, with Brock Lesnar seemingly coming out to be Rhodes' partner. After the ring introductions of Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Lesnar, and Rhodes, he launched his attack on Rhodes quickly, lifting him for an F5. That was just the beginning of the beating the Beast handed to Rhodes, though. Lesnar landed several F5s, smashing Rhodes into the ringside barricade, putting him through the announcer's desk, and driving Rhodes down onto the ring steps in the center of the ring with one final F5. The match never officially began, as Reigns and Solo Sikoa quickly departed after Lesnar attacked Rhodes. Lesnar has not wrestled a match in more than 20 years, and he hasn't wrestled a tag team match in any situation in over 2 decades. This, of course, capped off a tough 24 hours for the American Nightmare, who lost the main event of WrestleMania 39 Sunday night to Reigns due to outside interference by Sikoa. Rhodes' plight harkened back to John Cena in 2012, when he lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 28 and then got beaten up by a returning Brock Lesnar the following night on Raw. Although it's unclear where Rhodes' story will lead him next, Cena did rebound triumphantly to defeat Brock Lesnar at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view just weeks later. It could be leading to Rhodes maybe versus Lesnar at the Backlash Premium Live event. Now, we did get one return and one surprise last night on Raw, and it's Matt Riddle. The original Bro has returned to WWE during Monday night's edition of Raw after WrestleMania 39. Matt Riddle made a shocking appearance, the only real surprise of the night, taking out The Miz near the end of the show. In typical Riddle fashion, the WWE star showed up sans shoes and any type of clothing but his trunks, sporting a new look with regular trunks rather than his usual boxer-style trunks. Riddle took the microphone and asked the WWE Universe if they missed him before The Miz attacked him from behind. The former tag team champion eventually got the upper hand, landing his signature move, the Bro Derek, and celebrating before the segment closed. Quickly after fans witnessed Riddle's shocking return, WWE announced that The Miz would be his first match back on Raw next week, marking his first match since disappearing off the show due to a suspension from the company. According to several reports, Riddle was off WWE programming due to him being punished for failing a second drugs test, though WWE has never confirmed these reports. Riddle did, however, confirm via his social media that he did enter rehab, adding credence to those rumors. His suspension reportedly ended in February, with WWE opting to save his return for last night edition of Raw, last appearing on WWE television on December 5th, being written off the show via a brutal attack from Solo Sikoa. Riddle's RK Bro tag team partner partner Randy Orton is also yet to return to the company, with his future reportedly in jeopardy due to a severe back issue, but there had been rumors he was going to be around WrestleMania weekend, but we have still yet to see the Apex Predator on WWE television. Bad Bunny, after appearing at WrestleMania, once again appeared on Raw last night. Bad Bunny is no stranger to a WWE ring, even if the multi-platinum recording artist only has 2 matches under his belt. Yet the Raw after WrestleMania can often be full of surprises, which brings us to the Judgment Day. In the closing stages of Rey Mysterio's match against Austin Theory Monday night, his son Dominic got involved, ultimately costing his father the match. Damian Priest was there too, of course, as Dom made his way to ringside to greet Bad Bunny, who ultimately helped Rey Saturday by preventing Dom from using a chain during their father-son showdown. The two came to blows, with Bad Bunny knocking Dom to the floor. That's when Priest, who teamed with Bunny at WrestleMania 37 to defeat The Miz and John Morrison, got involved. At first, he knocked him down, but it was never going to be enough. He followed that up by viciously choke-slamming Bunny through the announcer's table, which resulted in a worried Corey Graves, a regretful Rey Mysterio, and an irate Adam Pearce. In any case, it would make sense that Bad Bunny would start to get more involved with Backlash right around the corner. The event is scheduled for next month in Bunny's native Puerto Rico, where he'll also be hosting. A match may very well be on the cards between these four. After all, following WrestleMania Saturday, Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque indicated that he just needs to call, saying, quote, "I will say this about Bad Bunny, Puerto Rico is coming. If he wants to be in that ring, he has my number." After winning his in-ring debut at WrestleMania 37, Bunny returned in the men's Royal Rumble match in 2022, picked up an elimination, ate an F5 from Brock Lesnar, and made it into the final 5. So Bad Bunny seemingly could be wrestling at Backlash. Seth Rollins was coming off the back of his victory over Logan Paul, and he came to the ring, and many people were thinking, what's Seth Rollins going to do? What's Seth Rollins going to say? After a backstage segment where Seth Rollins spoke to Kathy Kelly, he walked to the ring as the crowd sang along to his music, and Raw went to a commercial break. When the show came back from commercial, Seth Rollins was still in the ring, but then just left as the crowd continued to sing his song. So just to confirm this, Seth Rollins did nothing in the ring on last night's edition of Raw, other than encourage the crowd to continue singing his song, and that was it. Yes, it was one of those shows. We also saw the two women's champions in WWE face off last night. In the aftermath of WrestleMania 39, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley are currently holding the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships respectively, introducing a new era in the female division. Following their massive weekend, Belair and Ripley met in the Raw ring last night, teasing a future matchup between them. Belair arrived at the ring, she thanked fans and asked her for an incredible match on Sunday, and made sure to mention her streak just before Ripley interrupted. Ripley told Belair that she dodged a bullet when she opted to get revenge on Charlotte Flair rather than face Belair for the first time after winning the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match. Ripley promised Belair the two would get back to this one day, stating that she'll beat her just like she beat Flair during night 1 of WrestleMania 39. In response, Belair laughed off the idea of Ripley not choosing her, saying she made that decision for a reason, and she's all about getting in the ring with the best, which includes Ripley. Belair said that when Ripley is ready, the two will really see who is the best of the best, setting up a future match sometime down the line. This isn't the first time that Ripley and Belair have teased a future matchup, with Ripley mentioning the two have plenty of time to face off. The two shared a moment backstage on Raw in November 2022, where the Judgment Day walked backstage with Ripley before the new SmackDown Women's Champion stopped to confront Belair, who was walking by, recognizing her as the champ before walking away. Some people thought at the time they were planting the seeds for a WrestleMania match. Of course, though, that match didn't end up happening at WrestleMania. Let's talk about the Women's Tag Team Championships, because a match has been announced for next week's edition of Monday Night Raw. Despite defeating other teams in the Fatal 4-Ways Women's Tag Team Showcase match, the duo of Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey will not be the next team to challenge for the Women's Tag Team Championships, currently held by Becky Lynch and Lita. However, next week on Raw, we do know who will. After defeating Damage Control's Dakota Kai and Io Sky against Sans Bayley, who was actually pulled from that segment and entrance last night, it will be Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez taking the spot instead. Late into Raw after WrestleMania, the fairly new duo wasted little time in dispatching Damage Control, with Rodriguez catching Kai with a Texarkana bomb before Morgan finished things off with Oblivion after only a handful of minutes. Interestingly, Bayley was nowhere to be seen on the show following Damage Control's loss to Lynch, Lita and Trish on Saturday. As mentioned, according to reports, she was actually pulled from the show, pulled from the entrance. So What that means, I don't know, but we are going to be getting a Women's Tag Team Championship match next week. Finally, Pat McAfee made his return to WWE at WrestleMania this past weekend. That was on WrestleMania Saturday, similar to his return at the Royal Rumble in 2023, earlier this year, when he was on commentary. This one was kept close to the vest, with not many in the company knowing before showtime. On the latest edition of the Pat McAfee Show, the former NFL punter explained that only 5 people, himself included, knew the plan in advance. McAfee said, quote, Michael Cole had no idea I was going to be there, noting that while on his tour bus, Pat saw Michael Cole and he wanted to talk to him, but he decided against it because he wasn't sure if it would disrupt the plans for the segment. And whether or not his opponent, The Miz, knew of his return, McAfee stated, quote, obviously, Miz did not know until Saturday for a shoot when my music hit is near when Miz found out. Pat McAfee defeated The Miz in their unplanned match with the help of NFL player George Kittle. So no one really knew, apart from Pat McAfee. So there you go, guys. This latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe button right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.